Hello there, good people. Patricia here. Today I want to talk about choices and how we have to be careful not to get bogged down in the choices, but instead to move forward um, confidently and be strong in our decision making. I'm hesitating here because this was not a topic that was on my list, which is how I got to this choices thing. So I'll tell you that in just a second. Before we go down that road, please remember to hit thumbs up and the like button and subscribe as you help to build up this revived channel and to push it out to all of those who might enjoy some of this content as well. Okay, so here's my where did that come from? You know, the question and the answer. And I was sitting here trying to work through which topic I was going to talk to, that I was going to talk about today. And I was just drawing a blank, not because I didn't have a list. I have a list. I need to clean up my list some, but there's a lot of stuff still on my list. And I was like, I have choices. I have valid choices. And they don't quite seem right. There was one or two that I was like, that might be it. But then I'm like, okay, what do I need to talk about in this moment? And what clicks? And what came to mind is the fact that I have choices and I can't make a decision about which one to select. So I'm like, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because how many times does that hit all of us, right? Oh my goodness. And for those of you who are, brains are on go all the time, you may be ADHD, whatever the thing might be, having a lot of choices is often seen as this great benefit, regardless of what it is regarding, right? A list of topics to speak from versus fresh opportunities in the workplace or in the community, or just opportunities that may lay out there for you to pursue personally. Those are considered great things for most people. And then there is the flip side of that where having so many choices can actually just send you into freeze mode and cause you to be indecisive and to overthink the options that you have. And then as a result, what happens? Things disappear. The choices slip away. The opportunities are gone. That's a whole other thing. So let's talk about having all of these choices and what can we do to help ourselves in the moment to make a decision that we may not always be comfortable with, but we can be confident in. That's worth saying again. We may not always be comfortable with the decision, but we can be confident in it. And what do I mean by that? So, the lack of comfort is really about, oh my gosh, am I doing this, the right way? Is there something else I'm missing? This gets into all of the overthinking that is very common when it comes to making decisions and lots of other things because, hello, perfectionism is a thing. Uh, yes, recovering perfectionist here. And I know for a fact that perfectionism will sneak its ugly little head back in at the most inopportune times. And just when you think that, hey, I've really got this conquered, I'm good, then here it comes. Which is why I always say and remind people that so many of the things that we experience in our lives are they're part of a journey, they're not a destination, right? Because you might think, oh, okay, I've quote accomplished and I've achieved overcoming perfectionism until the next incident happens and it shows rears its old, its ugly head. So that's why I say it's a journey, and it's a journey with different stops along the way, and it's okay, right? And so, in terms of how that impedes our ability to make decisions and choices, you know, we, I know okay, so I can say we, but like I will overthink something because I've been trained to analyze things. I've been trained to consider all the options. That's another thing, right? Like, okay, the pros and the cons and all of that. But in that, we lose the opportunity to follow our gut because the world teaches us, well, there's got to be a concrete reason to do X. So if there are pros and there are cons, then you make the selection based on that list and then move forward, even if something in you says, I'm not sure about that. And we as women can be notorious for ignoring our guts, for ignoring our intuition, when so often it really and truly uh, gets us to the right decision, the right choice in so many aspects of our lives. And that's that piece of why you're not comfortable. Because it's like, why would I ignore a very clear cut list of pros and cons of why this is good, why it's not good, or the benefits of it versus the concerns regarding it? Why would I ignore it for this feeling or a gut intuition moment? And that's that piece of where we sometimes have to move past the comfort of something and then go with the confidence, because guess what, you can have discomfort and still be comfortable and still be confident. I love that, those and statements. It's like this, and like two things can exist at once. And the reason why you can be confident in something is because you know yourself and you know the quality of your past decisions. You may be uncertain about something, but you can feel confident knowing that I can accept whatever this decision makes and that I will be able to move forward in the best way possible, even if it's not, quote, the best decision at the time. I can be confident in knowing that it'll be okay for me. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot to remember that you can sit in discomfort and still be confident in when there's so many choices or decisions that need to be made. Another thing is remembering that having choices is truly a blessing, right? You have options, you have things to consider, when there are other times where maybe the options and the decisions and the choices were few and maybe not so great. And so sometimes seeing that glass half full piece or even all the way full and spilling over, it can seem overwhelming until you remember, there was a time where maybe I didn't have as many choices or where I wasn't clear headed enough to work through a long list of potential speaking topics. And so this is great. How about sharing even about that, which is how I got to this video. And that's a matter again of being confident in who you are, that even in the midst of something that could otherwise be overwhelming, to know I still got this. Like, I'm still winning. You are still winning, even in the midst of all these choices or decisions that may need to be made. And because of that, you don't have to be frozen in time, and feeling stuck and overwhelmed by all the decisions. Because a lot of times, what happens, that feeling of overwhelm, besides perfectionism, where it comes from, is fear as well, right? And they're linked. That fear of, oh, I won't do this quite right, or what if this is not the right decision, Or what if this is not the best decision? And fear will take over in a hot minute. And sometimes we just have to, I love to say, tell fear to go, sit in the back seat or even in the side seat, but you're not allowed to talk or drive. And you got to be quiet. There's a song by a gospel artist that I love. It's called Hello Fear by um, Kirk Franklin. I love the lyrics to that song. You have to go check it out. I normally, at least once a year or so, it comes to me and I have to share it with folks again because the lyrics are literally talking to fear and saying, "Hey, how you doing? I see you, I acknowledge you, but you don't get to drive this train, you don't drive this car, you don't drive this discussion anymore because there's something greater for me." And those are the real conversations we have to have with ourselves sometimes, right? I know I still have to have them because I can get scared and like get locked in and thinking about all of the things and then be like, "Oh, well, the best decision must be to not make a decision at all." Now, while that sometimes may be true, that is not normally the case because when we're letting fear and perfectionism drive our decision making, that is not consistent with literally the opportunities are presenting themselves, right? And it runs counter to it. It's actually sabotaging. And so that's when we often have to, step aside. I know I have to do this, have a little conversation with ourselves. Journaling helps. Talking to a confidant helps to remind ourselves that, hey, guess what? Like, I got this. The choices may seem overwhelming, the opportunities may seem overwhelming, and I can still move forward. I can still be confident that what's for me is for me and this is going to work out and it's going to be great and or I'm going to learn something from it, right? So either way, it's a good thing. It's going to be great because it's great. It's going to be great because it didn't go so well and yet I still learned something from the moment. And that may seem very Pollyannish and like, oh, so optimistic. I'm relatively an optimistic person. I'm also very realistic about things, but I'm always an optimistic person for the most part. And just have to remind myself for that because what I don't want to do is walk around with a whole bunch of negativity. Like what's that Charlie Brown character that walks around with that dust circling around them all the time. I don't want that. I don't want a dust ball of negativity roaming around me because I can't make a decision or I refuse to and I want to stay stuck and not moving forward uh, for whatever's next. Right? I don't want that. No dust balls here. No dust balls. We don't want that. And so I encourage you to think about that as well. It's like what moments are you allowing to gather dust around you and fogging up your vision from making, the most of these choices you may have or making the most of some fantastic opportunities that lie before you. And to, acknowledge that negativity, that uncertainty head on and then say, but I still have this. And I still have this. I can I can make, challenging decisions. I can make decisions in the midst of so many options and it'll be okay. It'll be fantastic. Because if it doesn't work out, guess what? You've got a list. And that's who I am. I'm like, okay, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. I still have a list of things to choose from and that I can go back to and then take a whole new pathway or direction. And that is something to be excited about, right? So remember to be excited about the choices that you're facing, to be excited about the opportunities that lie before you, and to know that even in the midst of some discomfort, you can still be confident and be empowered in your decision making in moving forward. Okay? All right. Look forward to talking with you again tomorrow. Remember to celebrate yourself and all that you do and say each and every day, people. All right. Take care. Talk soon.